Welcome to Let's Talk About It. A podcast gives a platform for real talk, real people, real topics, real conversations. Please subscribe, like, comment, enjoy this journey, and enjoy this ride. Welcome to this week's episode. Welcome everybody to Let's Talk About It. A podcast gives a platform for real talk, real people, real topics, real conversations. Before I introduce my guest, I would like to thank the thousands of people who have subscribed to my podcast. I would like to, whoever's watching right now, please subscribe, please like, please share, make a comment. You know, the more comments, the more likes I get, it puts me in a different algorithm, and I appreciate everybody's support to bring out the best content I can. Today, I had to bring somebody back from a future episode, meant to be. Go back on, check it out. She talked about her nonprofit organization that was very inquisitive to people actually reaching out to me, and they wanted to know more information about this nonprofit. You know, um, it affected me so much, and it affected two other people as well. So, it is a nonprofit learning organization helping our young adults navigate through life. Trust me, I wish I had this one here. Back from Meant to Be, the very popular podcast I had. Now I'm gonna say this right. It's Tedra Driggins, right?
That's right. That's me.
AKA Teddy.
AKA Teddy.
Tedra, I'll tell you, when we did that podcast, we sat down right with your husband Donnie, which my man's my boy. I love that dude to death. You know, certain people reached out. They got really involved in how way you explain about resumes, especially how way people, how to create one, how to interact in an interview. They was very intrigued by that. It intrigued me because I didn't really know nothing about it. I'm 52 years old. So I had to bring you back to explain the whole nonprofit and everything you do, all the amazing things you do, to explain to the people out there this great organization. So we go kick it off. Okay. Tell us something about yourself and your nonprofit organization.
Okay. I'm currently a manager at a manager of business risk and support. My team handles project management, fraud mitigation for consumer loans, and elements of process improvement. I have 20 years of leadership experience and over 20 years in the banking and finance industry with expertise in consumer lending, collections, mortgage lending, customer service, marketing, business operations, credit reporting, lending decisions, business startups, investments, business strategy and analytics, project management, and a working knowledge of legal procedures and concepts because I used to be in the legal industry way back when. I hold a Bachelor's of Science of Management from the University of West Florida. I also have a Master's of Science in Management from Troy University with an emphasis in human resources, and an MBA from Columbia Southern University, and a Master's in Organizational Leadership from Columbia Southern University. So I have a smorgasbord of stuff. So that's a little bit about me. So, about my nonprofit. So over the years, I've gained valuable knowledge and understanding of life's processes. I have taught several young adults, older adults, and children these concepts, including my own kids. And they have found it valuable and useful throughout their lives. I believe it's important to share this knowledge and understanding with our youth and adults as well in the community who may not understand these complicated processes through life. Those that know me know that I do not like depending on anyone for anything unless I absolutely have no other choice. I can do that because I believe in educating myself and diving deep into processes of our economics and understanding the analytics behind those processes. This is not for everyone. I understand that, and that is okay. The nonprofit is here to share this knowledge, to allow others to gain the basics, to build upon and develop themselves so that they can have the same opportunities I had that created my success today. And our mission is to provide functional and foundational learning of life skills and tools for best practices when navigating through everyday adult living and decision making for older teens, as well as all adults. Wow. And our vision is for young adults to successfully utilize these tools and best practices taught in our nonprofit for their everyday adult living to feel confident navigating through adulthood. And I've learned over the past that initially this organization was really for older teens and young adults, basically your Gen Z generation. But as I started doing my seminars, I've had older adults that are like, wait a minute, I need some of this too. I need to learn about this too. So I had a lot of older adults actually come to a lot of the seminars too. So that's just a little bit about the organization. I'm sure you got some more questions coming up.
This is straight amazing. Your accolades are just like amazing. Seriously, man. Seriously, that is right there. I wish I had this. With the introduction of, I wish I had this when I was a kid. We talked earlier. I wish I had this. I'd probably be a better person than that.
Me too.
Right? You know what? What was the moment or situation to lead you to create this organization?
So I created the organization in 2021, and this is something I have wanted to do for many years, but just had to find the right time to do it. I believe in leading, mentoring, and developing our youth through motivation, enthusiasm, optimism, and emotional intelligence. I believe that providing a foundation of knowledge about everyday life processes will provide a path to independence and confidence for our young adults to navigate through life. And it just so happened that when I was raising my daughter and my stepkids, I used to teach them all kinds of stuff about finance. And they just had a really good working knowledge of how money works. And they would share some of this information with their friends. And then sometimes my daughter would say, hey, you need to let my mom teach you some stuff. And so she would have some of her friends come over and, say, and I would teach them some things that they might be interested in, like budgeting or maybe credit reporting or investing or something like that. And that's just kind of how it blew off. And once I realized how many people were interested in this, I said, you know what? It would be much easier if I had a platform where I can just kind of do these seminars, maybe record them and have them housed on a website where people can just go to it free of charge and just watch it when they need to. And if they have questions, they can reach out to me and ask questions. If they need like a one-on-one session, or if maybe they have a church event or something like that, they want me to come and speak at a church event or some type of youth event, I'm more than happy to do that. So it's a passion. It's really a passion.
That is amazing. Did your daughter and her friends benefit from everything you explained?
Oh yeah, they sure have. I taught a lot of them how to do different things, especially interviewing. I've helped several people, learn how to interview without being so nervous. I've taught them about credit reporting, how to build credit. I helped them create budgets when they went out on their own so that they know how to manage their money. So yeah, they've benefited quite a bit from it. Absolutely.
Well, before my next question, I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna hook you up with my oldest son because he needs it bad. Seriously. You know what I mean? And if someone who's watching, I know they are, we go hook her up with him. Trust me.
Okay.
What are some of the seminars that you teach?
Some of the learning seminars include budget and banking, education and the financial aid process, and that can be so complicated. And they just recently changed a lot of it, so it's even more complicated to me. But
why they change? Is it certain rules?
They changed a different platform. They're using like different. They changed the website around where you have to do things a little differently. So I had to remove my seminar off of my website. Now I have to create a new one. But
Okay.
I helped that one out. Cryptocurrency, fraud crimes, resume writing and interview best practices, investing in stock trading, renting and home buying, understanding your credit report and lending, completing your tax return, your business for self, and I host an expert. I host a lot of expert interviews and information that's located on the website too. So,
off topic, like, do you think people are scared or to have like stock trading investments, especially like retirement?
So one thing that I do tell people when they ask me for information about stock trading, I only teach the basics because I'm not a financial advisor, and I want to make sure people know that. So I teach the basics and how I trade and so forth. I don't give advice on which stocks they need to trade. That's up to them. But I do tell people that it's a very risky business, and it's not a matter of if you're going to lose money, it's when, because everybody will lose money. It's not a 100% guaranteed thing. You will lose money going into stock trading. So it's high risk. What I like to do is give people the fundamentals on how to look at charts and how to understand them so that they can be equipped with some knowledge that they can do further research and say, okay, I'll go ahead and look at this chart and see if this stock is going to help me make some money or maybe not, because there's so many different things that go into looking at a stock. Is so many different risk factors, and even you can be the most amazing stock trader and you still don't know what they're doing internally. I mean, you can have a CEO that decides they want to resign the next day. You can't predict that unless you're on the inside, and that would be insider trading if you did that. So, these are elements that you can't predict, that you can do everything right, but then your stock falls because the CEO just quit. So it's very risky, and I tell people that be prepared to lose money.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, I mean, like, because I know I just did a podcast on like retirement, and like they said that a lot of people were scared to invest in that. That's why I just want to just get your opinion about that one.
Yeah.
So which one of your seminars is the most common and popular, and why?
So that would be what we talked about earlier, the resume writing and the interview best practices. There are hundreds of templates out there where that will help you write a resume, but knowing the right words to use or not use can be paramount for getting your foot in the door for that very important interview that you want. Many people recognize this and they request assistance. That's usually what happens, and that's where I come in. Most of the time I get a resume already completed, and then they'll ask me to review it and tweak it and, make sure everything looks good. That's usually what I prefer, that you give me the information and then I go in and, do some tweaking to it. The interview best practices part, that's extremely helpful to people because many people get tongue twisted, scared, nervous, deer in headlights when they're being interrogated by a table full of strangers. I teach an easy process for interviewing that will allow you to be more prepared and more relaxed. And it's based on the STAR methodology, something that I was taught at my current employment. And STAR methodology, that's just the situation, task, action, and results. And it's a methodology that keeps you consistent with your questions, and it keeps you relaxed, and it also will keep you structured. And it's about like formulating your own stories into experiences that can be comfortably explained to the interviewers with confidence. And that's the important part, with confidence. It's also about recognizing what stories to use based on specific questions that they ask in a category, which are generally situational types of questions. And I give examples, and I show them how easy that is. When you're prepared and you have your stories ready, and recognizing what category each question falls into, and that way you can pull from your story bank and know what you need to say. So it's a very it's one of my most popular, because I would say out of everybody that I taught that seminar to, everybody got a job except for one person, but he got a compliment that basically he had a really good interview. But it's very useful, very useful.
You know what? I know I'm going to get a question about that right there with your STAR method, and I already know who it's going to be from. So I'm going to ask you off the bat, before that. Does this technique help with somebody who has anxiety? Because I
Well,
know that's what she's going to ask me. I guarantee.
yeah. So I think, and see, I'm not an expert on anxiety, of course, because I don't. I mean, we all got some form of anxiety, but
Yeah.
I think it does, and the reason why I say that is because it helps you better prepare. So I think anxiety comes when you're not prepared and you really you don't anticipate, you don't know what's going on. I think if you're, once you're better prepared, with stories you have in your bank and how to recognize the questions, I think that anxiety kind of subsides. I taught my daughter this. Man, I think she was 15 when I first taught her this methodology, and she was nervous about it. She was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. I said, trust me, they're going to ask you these types of questions, and you're going to be ready for them. And all she had to do was be ready with her stories, and she landed her first job she got, just doing that. And she doesn't make any secrets about herself having anxiety, but she's very comfortable with interviewing, very comfortable now.
I love that. I had to ask that question. I know I'm gonna get that question. I guarantee. Do you have a favorite seminar, and why is it your favorite out of all the seminars?
Oh man, so this one is actually tough because I love teaching about real estate lending, and I love teaching about understanding your credit report. Those are my two favorites. So I could do a mortgage loan in my sleep. The training, experience, and knowledge I obtained in the real estate industry is invaluable. I tell you, that's one of my best skills I have. This is one of the most complicated processes that most of us will go through at least once in our life, or may know somebody that has gone through it. And if not you, somebody that's close to you is going to go through the real estate process. And depending on the people that guide you, depending on them, it may cause a lot of stress in your life, because they may not be be able to give you the answers you need, and it may leave you feeling like you're in the dark. And that's what I hear from most people. This seminar will answer many of your questions before starting the real estate buying process. And it makes you prepared. I also love teaching people about how to understand your credit report, because most of us don't have the slightest clue what all that stuff is on your credit report.
No, I don't. I'll tell you that now, I don't.
And how it also affects your score. And so that one score that you have can make or break you in obtaining the best interest rate, getting the most prestigious job, getting a luxury apartment, car, a home. I teach people the basics of understanding your credit report and how to remove errors from it, and how to stay in good standings with your credit report. So something that most people may not know about this subject, let's say real estate lending. So something most people don't know about real estate lending is, I would say that most people get knocked out the box because of their debt to income ratio. They don't know how to calculate their debt to income ratio. There's so many things that go into your DTI is what we call it, that they start to come up with these conspiracy theories like, oh, you just don't like me. That's why you're denying my loan. One of the things that people don't realize is that if you own, let's say, investment properties, they're not going to give you 100% of your rental income for that investment property. Wow. No, they won't. And most of lenders they require that you have that investment property rented for at least 2 years before they will count any of that income. Seriously? Just depending on the guidelines. Yeah. So it's, and that goes against your DTI. So when you look at your DTI, you're looking at everything on your credit report, everything that has a balance and a monthly payment. And then they look at the principal and interest, taxes and insurance of the current home you want to buy, any real estate that you may own, the principal, interest, taxes and insurance for that. Of course, HOAs and things like that. And then also child support, alimony, all of that stuff goes into your DTI, your monthly, debt that you have each and every month. And
What's
lot
the
of people
DTI?
That.
I'm sorry. What is a DTI?
Debt to income ratio.
Okay, I got you. All right.
Debt to income ratio. So a lot of people don't realize that. And when I go into this seminar, I kind of break it down because I know the underwriting process. I've processed over 1,000 real estate loans, and I know the underwriting portion of that process. So, and a lot of real estate agents do not. You may have some that do, that know that, but most of them don't know the underwriting process. They just know bits and pieces, how to kind of get you here and there. But I actually know people used to give me their loans and say, I can't make this work. Can you look at it and see if you can figure out how we can make this thing work? Loan officers want to make your loan work. They want to. They don't want to decline your loan because most of them are on commission. So they want to make your loan work. So they will elicit help from whoever they can. And I remember doing that quite a bit and finding things to make the loan work. So, that's one little tidbit of, as far as real estate loans. And something people may not know about the credit reports is everybody has an error on your credit report. There's at least one on everybody's credit report. and every lender, the reason why all of your credit scores are different, because, I get that question a lot, is like, why are all three different? Because lenders and creditors are not required to report to all three credit bureaus. They can report to one. And so if they're reporting to, say, Equifax, then and you're doing really bad with paying them back, on a monthly basis, your Equifax might be shot into the ground, but your, Experian and your TransUnion might be looking good, so they do not have to report to all three. The major lenders usually report to all three, but they don't have to. You might, especially collection agencies usually will only report to one. Sometimes they report to all three, but you'll find that collection agencies, a lot of times they'll keep stuff on your credit report that's erroneous, that shouldn't even be there. And so you really should monitor your credit report. I monitor mine on a monthly basis, but at least look at it every 3 months, because you never know what's on there. You just really don't.
You just blew my mind on that, because I ain't know none of that right there, none of it, and that is so important, especially with credit. And with real estate, that man, because and sometime in the future I'm going to invest into buying a home. So, especially right when I get down in Florida. So I'm going to be reaching out to you like crazy. Like, yo, what should I do? What should I not do? I'm going to be hitting you up like crazy. So tell us something most people may not know about that subject right there. That subject.
Which one?
The real estate, the underwriting part.
Oh, the underwriting?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of ins and outs and intricate flows when it comes to underwriting. See, lenders, they have to abide by Fannie Mae's guidelines. They can have their own guidelines as well, because they may have their own products. But in order for lenders to replenish their money, they have to abide by Fannie Mae because they have to take the loan, sell it back to Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae gives them the money, and then the cycle starts all over again. Lenders are not in the business for wanting to house too many loans. And what that means is that if they make mistakes on a loan and Fannie Mae rejects it, then they have to keep that loan and they have to service it themselves and wait for the loan to get paid off in order to get their money back. So they tend to want to make sure that everything is good to go before as far as the underwriting guidelines and so forth. But there are different ways you can get things through when all else fails, and those are called exceptions. Now, not all lenders do exceptions. Most of them will work to try to do exceptions. But there are exceptions out there that they have certain thresholds that they can go, they can kind of tweak the guidelines in order to ensure that the loan is a good investment and they can still sell it over. And a lot of times these are going to be your compensating factors. And the compensating factors just basically means that you have some extra stuff that, even though the application may not be that strong, there's some extra stuff that make you strong. And that may be you've been on the job for 20 years. You may not have a great credit score, but you got some good assets. Maybe you have a nice chunk of change in the bank. You've got a couple bank accounts where you have a good chunk of change, or maybe you was good with your money and investment and developing your 401k, and now your 401k is nice and healthy. Well, that's also that's an asset. So they look at those as compensating factors and say, hey, this person is responsible. We can trust them. Let's go ahead and give them a shot. So there are ways to get things through. And I urge people that if your loan officer says, I'm sorry, but there's just nothing we can do, your credit score is too low, or your DTI is too high, just ask them, is there any exceptions? Are there any exceptions? Can I give you any compensating factors? Those two words, most of the time they use those internally themselves, but for their customer to actually say it to them probably will blow their mind.
Man, they probably they go hear this like, girl, why you give all our secrets? Like, tell me a little bit about a seminar that's good for everybody to know, not just the young adults, for everyone.
For everyone. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go with the fraud crimes because in this seminar we talk about scams, fraud schemes, and ways of protecting yourself against fraud. I also interviewed a certified fraud examiner to offer insights and tips into protecting yourself from fraud. It's very insightful and something everyone should be aware of, because fraud, scams, cyber threats, and ID theft is the fastest growing crimes in America. And I see this every single day because I'm a manager of a fraud team. So that one is probably the best one. I actually did a seminar, in-person seminar for our senior citizens. So my mom is part of the Red Hat Club. I don't know if you ever saw those ladies, the Red Hat ladies. They all wear red hats and they go to dinners and stuff like that. And they be out in public with their red hats.
I mean, no, but that sounds kind of cool though. I ain't gonna lie to you, but go ahead.
Yeah. So she invited me to come and speak to them about senior fraud so I can make them aware of different fraud schemes that are out there to help protect them, because they're our most vulnerable. Those are the ones that fraudsters like to target the most, are the really young, and surprisingly our young military as well, and then our older senior citizens. So I had about 26 senior citizens, and I taught them, what to look for, what to do, and they were very appreciative. So that was probably my oldest crowd, even though my nonprofit is designed for young folks, but that was my oldest crowd, and they were very appreciative. But I think that's for everybody. It's rampant out here. It's bad. It's really
God. Let me tell you something. I get these text messages to UPS, whatever, has a package for you or something like that. Amazon has a package for you to warehouse. Click on this link. And I'm like,
Yep.
what? Like,
Don't click on nothing. Nope.
hey,
Don't click on
like,
nothing. That is called an impersonator. And basically they're trying to impersonate UPS, USPS. And I'm gonna tell you, UPS and USPS, they're not gonna text you nothing.
yeah.
They are not going to text you anything like that. So if you get those texts, you can just delete them and feel rest assured that you are not missing out on a package.
Wow, that is a huge thing. I know a couple of people that's went through that, especially like on Instagram or TikTok or something like that. Like somebody will hack their account
Mm-hmm.
and some like they'll say like, yeah, I got a brand new house, got a brand new car through Bitcoin or some type of investment. Like
Mm-hmm.
what I mean, like, I could put you down. Like I like a friend of mine, she got fooled by somebody and they like, listen, I forgot your number again. Give it back to me. She typed it in. Oh, all type of stuff happened to her phone. Oh,
Yep.
all type of stuff. And they try and hack her accounts and all this stuff like that. Fraud's a big thing. I'm so glad that's one year that's actually a real good one for you.
Yeah.
Do you get requests from like mentors, or like or something like for like life coaching or stuff like that?
Yeah, so I do it all the time. I have several people I mentor and a couple people I do life coaching with, and most of them are friends, because they know that I'm here and I'm a good life coach for them.
Okay.
I obviously can't have a lot at one time because it's just me, but this is where the free pre-recorded seminars come in very handy in these types of situations because I can always direct them back to the website if there's something in particular I want them to be aware of. I'll say, look, I want you to look at this seminar, and then afterwards, we can talk about it, ask some questions, and I'm here for you, to try to help you out in whichever way I can. But yeah, I do, and my job, I get most of them at my job too because my job encourages mentoring, other people. And
Yeah.
so I do quite a bit there. And I use my tools and my best practices from my nonprofit, even at my job. So, yeah.
So like, how important life coaching is to you?
I think that I love the Gen Zs because the Gen Zs that are coming up now, they really hone in on life coaching, mentorship, things like that. They're not afraid to ask for that stuff. They actually like having that stuff. Whereas our generation, Gen X, man, we were like, you can't tell me nothing.
You
It's like,
still can't tell me nothing
like
else.
we don't want to be bothered with that. It's like you don't tell me nothing. But they actually they are very enthused about that. So I think that it's important, and I'm so glad that they're that way. And I think they're going to be a very successful generation. They're very practical. They have a little bit of a mix of all the generations in them. And I did a interview with my Gen Zs. I had 6 of them on there, and we talked about their successes, and it was really informative how they think and how they process. But they are big on mentorship, and most of them that I mentor are my Gen Zs. Most of them.
I like that. I like that. Now, do you
Mhm.
like do a lot with that with the Gen X's or maybe what's the other one? Let's say
The
a baby
millennials.
boomer. Yeah, about millennial or baby boomer or Gen X. You do that with them?
Most of the Gen X and the baby boomers, most of them, they'll hit me up if they have questions about something that's going on and they want some quick answers to something. But it's not, like let's sit and talk for hours on, certain things. They just want the information and then they're good. The millennials, usually my millennials, they want more life coaching and some mentorship, but it's mostly about life stuff. Some of the stuff that I teach, but some of the other stuff they usually ask me
Gotcha.
about life stuff. But usually it's my Gen Zs that really want the extra guidance on the processes. And I just think to myself, my God, if I had this information when I was their age.
Girl, I wish I had it now. But
I know.
right. What made you choose the subjects and content for your seminars? Like, what made you choose all those? Like those specific ones.
Yeah. So the subjects and contents that were chosen were based on my experiences in the past and in the present right now. Because, like I said, right now I'm a manager of a fraud team and I also do project management. Um, I've worked in multiple sectors in the financial industry that have given me a host of experience and understanding of how things work. I chose the subjects that I could best speak to and that I know what I'm talking about, So I wanted to make sure. So I don't know everything, but I tell you what, most of the stuff that people ask me about, I can pretty much answer, fairly confidently.
I tell you right now, my grandmother always says, like, don't talk about something you don't know nothing about, because you look
Right.
like a damn fool.
Exactly. Exactly.
Is there any other content on your website besides seminars?
So I do have several interviews with experts in the fields that I teach. I have an attorney on there talking about the legal stuff. I also have an expert in self-employment. She's great. She's absolutely wonderful. I also have my dad on there. He teaches his four-pocket theory. And I have a manager of a credit disputes department, and she talked about disputing credit and credit reports. I also got some IRS investigators that I managed two of them. I managed to corner and interview. So I have those on there too. That, and I've got some thank you notes from people, thank you letters from people that actually benefited from the seminars and they got jobs. I got pictures of all the seminars on there, and my interview with the Gen Z people that I told you about. But yeah, it's quite a nice website. It's pretty good. I encourage everybody to go take a look at it.
Now I'm kind of curious. What was the one your dad did for what?
So my dad, so that was one of my favorite. It was my first seminar that I did for the nonprofit, and it's a very important one. But I think that it's a budgeting and banking seminar, and it's great for young adults who don't know where to begin with managing their finances. In this seminar, we discuss creating a budget and understanding how interest works and the value of money and obtaining skills and how to build wealth using those skills. And my dad, he created a theory in his master's dissertation called the four pocket theory. And basically what that means is that it's like pretending you have a pair of jeans and you got two pockets in the front and two pockets in the back. And the whole theory behind it is the pockets in the front are easy access pockets. And then the pockets in the back are not so easy. So in the pockets in the front, you're going to put the first pocket, you're going to have your current job in there where you get your current income, or if you're self-employed, where you get your current income. You're going to have your current skills that you have and certifications. That's in your front pocket because that's easily accessible. On your other front pocket, you're going to have something like a short-term savings account where you're going to put little bits of money in there, here and there, where you can easily access it in case of emergencies. So, and we encourage people to have at least, I know this is difficult to do, but about 6 months of expenses in a short-term account so that you can easily access it just in case something happens to your job or something like that. That's hard, but just putting a little bit in there, a little bit at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day, so just a little bit at a time in that pocket. So you got those two pockets in the front; they're easily accessible, and then the pockets in the back are the ones that are, those are the ones that you're building up. They're not easily accessible right now, but you can go in them when you need to, and you go into those pockets when you lose your job and you have to pull another skill out of that back pocket. So that third pocket, you want to start building skills, additional skills so that you can access those. If something happens to the skill you have, it might become obsolete or you're laid off or something like that. You can hone in on a different skill, a certification, a license. So you may, like right now, you might have a current CDL license on your front pocket, but then your back pocket, maybe you're like Donnie, a licensed water operator. And so if something happens with your trucking job, you can pull that license out of your back pocket and say, well, okay, nothing's happened with CDL, then I'll just go ahead and find me something as a water operator. So it's like that. It's about building skills and having a bunch of skills. I interviewed a young man, which is actually my daughter's fiance. He's got the most skills I ever seen anybody had in their life. I mean, he's got all kinds of stuff, CDLs, carpentry, all kinds. I mean, he can do just about anything. Wow. And mechanic, I mean, just about anything. So it's people like that. They can pull skills out of that back pocket and never have to worry about being broke, because they're gonna always have some kind of skill set to fall back on. So I encourage people to continuously build those skills, and that builds wealth. And then that fourth pocket, the other one, that pocket is for long-term investments. That's for like your 401k, IRAs. You know, maybe it's you're gonna save some money for a future investment of some rental property, or maybe a business or something like that you want to own. Those are futuristic. That's a futuristic type pocket that you gradually build over time. But it's all about building those skills to throw them in that pocket, so that when something happens, if an unforeseen situation happens, you can pull that skill out and be able to use that. And I'll tell you what, that has worked very well for me, because like I said, I was in the legal industry for like 3.5 years as a paralegal. And I still, to this day, still remember that skill set. I love being a paralegal. It was awesome. All that research and stuff like that I used to do, civil litigation. So, but that skill I never lost. That skill, I brought it with me in the business sector, because business, they have legal issues too. And so, you're able to understand different legal jargon that come through your email or anything like that. Project management, process improvement, fraud, all that stuff, lending, real estate lending, all of those skills I built over time with different employers that I work with. And just like the young man that I interviewed, he said the same thing. He told all the young people out there, he said, look, whatever job you win, find out what they're giving away for free, as far as what kind of education or teaching they're giving away for free, and go get that skill so you can. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's right. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yep. Girl, wow. That was, tell your dad, seriously. Dad, I would never thought that. That's fantastic how well you explained it. I mean, the apple definitely fell right from the tree right to you, it seems like. Seriously, I see that right now. Where'd you learn all this stuff at to be able to teach it?
So different employment opportunities, professional and life experiences, training schools. I remember going to an interview one time way back in the day. I think I was like 25 years old. And I remember at that particular time, I probably had maybe about 3 or 4 skills. I did a lot of graphic design. I did customer service, things like that. So I had some skill sets that I honed in on. And I remember the guy saying, when he saw my resume, he said, "You're a jack of all trades and a master of nothing." And I said, wow. I said, okay. And I never forgot him saying that. And I said, you know what? It's okay, because being a jack of all trades and having those skill sets in my back pocket actually made me successful today. So I don't regret being that jack of all trades and learning from every single job I had, and gaining whatever knowledge and skills I can get from each job, so that when I want to push forward to the next job that's making more money, I can say, hey, I got this skill. What does that other applicant have? Because I probably have more than what that other applicant has. So it makes you more valuable, more competitive, more marketable. So when I think about him saying that, I'm like, I just shake my head like, you know what? It's okay, because that jack of all trades and skills that I had, it's got me where I am today.
Wow. Girl. Yeah, I mean, like, where can someone access the seminars, or how can they contact you about speaking engagements?
So they can go to my website, and that's www.tedranonprofitlearning.org. And that's my name. Now, it's funny with my name. The actual name of the organization is called the Everyday Daily Real Adult Nonprofit Learning Organization. And the acronym is TEDRA. I wanted to use my name as an acronym, but I had to come up with some words. So I came up with the Everyday Daily Real Adult, because that's exactly what it is. It's real adult learning and living. And so, but the acronym is TEDRA. So the website is tedranonprofitlearning.org. And once they get there, they can just scroll down to the contact section, and they can email me or call me. I do have a Zoom account. So if they maybe want to do a seminar via Zoom, no matter where you are, we can go ahead and set something up via Zoom and talk about it. But if you're in the Pensacola area, which probably not a whole lot of people are, then I can do them in person too.
Well, it's a good thing, right? You didn't do it the way I was pronouncing your name, Tendra.
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was pronouncing her name the wrong way all the time.
And that's why I came up with Teddy.
I was like, what am I doing here? So wait a minute. So your nonprofit is only based in that area. But you can like branch out. People can come all over the world to check this out, right?
Oh yeah. I also have a Facebook site as well, called the Tedra Nonprofit Learning, on Facebook. And I'll go ahead and post like little tidbits and pieces of information, maybe some good pointers or red flags I might see out there. Just good information just to share with people. Most of the time I'll post different financial tips that I see out there. Like right now, I tell you, these banks are just giving away money. They want people to come in and open up a checking account with them, with direct deposit, and they're giving away like hundreds of dollars for you to do this. And I've been posting about that, and posting about the real estate.
Which bank is that? Which bank? Let me know.
Oh my gosh, it's a whole lot of them. You got Citibank is doing it. Who else is doing it? Chase. Chase is giving away, I think it's $300. Wells Fargo, they're giving away like $350. Who else? What is the name of those credit unions? There's not credit. The credit unions aren't really doing it. It's the banks.
Gotcha.
But yeah, there are several of them. If you go to nerdwallet.com, that's where I like to hang out in NerdWallet. They have all kinds of good information. So nerdwallet.com, and look up best checking accounts with bonuses. They have a list of them there for you. Wow. So, oh yeah.
Well, Teddy, I got two more questions for you.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people are going to want to know this. I want to know this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you do it. Where the hell do you find time to do all this stuff? I mean, like, I don't know where. Like, it's only 24 hours in a day.
I know.
Like, where do you find the time?
Well, many of my mentees are at my place of employment, like I said earlier. So I can do a lot of my mentoring at work because they encourage that on my job. And I use many of these concepts in those sessions. Like I was saying, I also can mentor and do seminars on the weekends and during my off days. So I tend to do that. But you would be surprised that as much information as I have to share, I don't get a whole lot of requests from young adults because they too don't have the time, to sit down and listen. So, most of the time I have like parents that'll say, my child need to get this. They need to have this. And then it's a matter of the parent usually is the one setting it up and then pushing the child. You need to do this, So it's really them. It's them finding the time to really get serious about this and really getting this information. But I will tell you this, once when they get in that mode of like they're about to get a job, or they're interested in a job, or they're interested in buying a house, I'm the first one they come to ask questions. So that's usually when I get a lot of my mentors, my mentees.
Wow. Like I gotta ask you this. How important is this to you?
This nonprofit is very important to me. I really think that, man, if I had this at 25 years old, I feel like I would be a CEO of a company by now. You know,
Mm,
I
preach.
just think it's so important that our young people understand this information. It just makes them better and more equipped with understanding how things work in the world, and smarter, so that they can and once they understand this stuff, they can learn, they can actually use this in their careers, to help better themselves in their careers. Now, there is something called continuous learning. You have to continuously learn. You can't
Yes.
just stay dormant. So once I give you the foundations and the basics, I encourage you to continuously learn and build those skills. So it's really important. I love mentoring to young people when they call me up and they, say, "Hey, Miss Tedra, can you tell me about this?" Or, "I'm about to apply for this loan. Do you think this is a good interest rate?" And so I just kind of go into teaching mode. It's like, okay, let me tell you about this interest rate. First, let's talk about your credit because that's where your interest rate's coming from. So,
Right?
yeah, so it's real important to me. I think young people need this. They really do need this. And surprisingly, a lot of people don't know this, but this format that I have, just based on the stuff that I know, a lot of lenders are actually doing this on their website platforms. So they have different places you can go on their platforms where you can click on it for education on certain things like credit or lending or real estate or something like that. You can click on it, and they'll have like different excerpts or different little small training bites where you can learn some stuff. So the lenders are actually getting into this because this is what Gen Z is wanting. And so they tend to cater to the up and coming generation. So, the boomers and Xers, we're kind of, we're getting older, and they still want to cater to us. But the up and coming Gen Zs, the younger millennials, they want to cater a lot to them because there's more of them coming in. And so they require, they want education. They want these lenders to help teach them stuff, and show them how to do stuff, show them, know them, and maybe even do it for them, stuff like that. So it's definitely something that I'm not the only one that's doing something like this for free. But there are even organizations that are charging people for this kind of mentorship. I don't believe in doing that. I think this needs to be free. People need this information for free. So
Ladies and gentlemen, this woman's amazing. Yes, she does it for free. Gives her own personal time to teach and try and develop the youth for the day. You have to watch this. You have to applaud her for this because I wish I would have had this when I was younger. I mean, I remember the first time I walked into a bank, like I couldn't even fill out a receipt. I didn't know how to fill out a check. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. I didn't know how to fill out a resume. When I went on interviews, like I have a little stutter and stuff like that, but I was like all over the place, and I didn't know none of this stuff. For what you're doing today, for all generations, not just young, but for all generations, it's just stupendous. I mean, like you are definitely one of the best people I've met. That you're donating your time.
yeah,
Okay, she's not getting paid for this, ladies and gentlemen. She's donating her time. Like, not that many people do that.
right.
So seriously, I applaud you for this
Thank
one.
you.
And also I did want to tell you this, when you was on the last time, meant to be, which everybody was like, that's the best couple in America now. There's a question I got maybe from 8 different women. and
Uh-oh.
they want to know. This is straight to you. Is it real? Does he treat you like the queen? Because he seemed like he's perfect for you, and they want to know where can they get a Donnie at.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's I actually, that's not an uncommon question I get. He's real, it's we are just extremely compatible. I just know how he thinks. I know how he what he's going to react to. We just it's almost like finding that missing puzzle piece that you've been looking for your whole life. You ever heard of like that term soulmates? And they just, it's like magnets. They want to come together, and
Mhm.
he's my soulmate. He's that magnet, and it is so real. And I'm be honest, with everybody. When we first moved in together, we had some turmoil times. We had to get used to each other. So we had some arguments and things like that. Just trying to get used to each other. But it wasn't anything that we couldn't get over, that we couldn't work out. Did we go to bed angry a couple times? Yeah, we did. We did. Lost some sleep. But it's funny, once those things were ironed out and we learned each other. It's just been smooth sailing, and that probably took when we moved in together in 2020. Probably took about a year for us to kind of get acclimate to each other, and then after that, I mean, we may have had two disagreements. I don't even call them arguments. And I think I told you the last time it was about him driving the car and turning in the wrong way or something. It was just something weird, just something stupid. So, but yeah, it's real. I don't know where they can find a Donnie at.
Hey, Donnie's one of a kind, and also, ladies and gentlemen, he's also involved in the nonprofit as well. They do it together. They work side by side. It's awesome. Power couple on all around. I respect and I admire both of them for this. But before I give you the last word, I'm gonna get into my little 5-question game for you. Are you ready for
Oh,
this?
yes, I am.
All right. First question: best advice you've ever gotten?
Oh, best advice I ever gotten was don't burn any bridges, because I'll tell you what, you never know who's going to be your boss one day. And that
True.
has happened. You burn a bridge, next thing you know, that person's your boss and they doing your par and right or signing your paychecks. So
Yes.
don't burn no bridges.
Yes. Yes.
Treat
Yes.
everybody with respect.
Number two, what was the most humbling moment in your life so far?
Ooh, the most humbling moment. Gosh, I want to say, oh wow. I'm gonna probably say when I got my first letter in the nonprofit, um, thanking me for the resume building and the interview best practices seminar. I did a one-on-one, and he got the job. He got promoted, and he did everything like I told him to, and it was just so nice to just feel that success that he was feeling. And it was very humbling that the things that I'm teaching, they're working on different levels. I mean, I've done that seminar with people on high levels, and it works for all levels, not just somebody trying to get a job at a food joint, or it works for executive as well. So yeah.
Love that. Wow. That's crazy. What's a luxury you cannot live without?
Oh, a luxury I can't live without. A luxury. You know what? It's funny. A luxury I can't live without is traveling. So I need to travel. But not, I'm cheap when it comes to travel, except for hotels. I have to have a nice hotel because I need to feel safe and I need that bed to feel good. So I will try to find the cheapest air flight. I like Delta and American though, but I'll try to find the cheapest air flight. cheapest restaurants. I do like to eat good foods, but I'll still be cheap. I'm like, I'll drink some water, and I'm like, no, I don't want nothing else to drink. Y'all charge like $15 for a drink.
I
So, but
love it.
yeah, but it's got to be the hotel.
Hey, I love it. I love it. If you can learn one skill instantly, what would it be?
Oh, one skill instantly. What have I been really wanting? One skill instantly would be forensic psychology. I have
Oh,
always been fascinated with forensic psychology. And that right there, actually, I kind of dip and dab and study in human behavior. I love human behavior. I've been studying it for like probably the past 20 years. I'm no psychologist by any means, but I do like studying the things that they study and learning how human behavior works, because that's important as a leader. I'm a manager. So understanding human behavior is a form of emotional intelligence, and it allows me to understand the people that work for me and understand what motivates them, and how I can talk to them and motivate them. So human behavior is important, but forensic psychology, that would actually give me an extra edge.
I love it. I love it. The last question, I kind of asked you and Donnie the same question about the 5-year thing. 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5 years ago.
This is going to be different. If you can ask your future self one question, what would it be?
If I can ask my future self one question,
What would it be?
that would be, am I ever going to not owe the IRS any money?
Oh, damn. Girls preach, because I do them every year. Every year. Every year. No matter what. No matter what. I put zero and I still owe them.
Yeah. I would love to know if that's ever going to happen.
Exactly. Tedra, I'll tell you right now, I love this. I'm going to give you the last word. If someone's watching this podcast, which they are, it's some special people that would like to watch this podcast. Why, out of every nonprofit, that they should come to you, speak also to you, check out your website, even donate to you? Like, why should they come to you? Because I tell you right now, I know I'm gonna get your last word on this one, but I want to say what you have said today is golden. That's all I'm going to say before you start. You take it away.
Okay. Well, this nonprofit is based on donating time to provide information. I saw a need years ago when my daughter and, like I said, my stepkids were teenagers. My daughter would often solicit my knowledge to her friends and help them get jobs. I do this because I'm passionate about our young people understanding the processes of life, so that they won't get caught up in bad situations that we see so often, in unforeseen situations. Life is about being prepared. You can't always be prepared for everything. We know that, but you can try to be as prepared as possible. I don't pay myself a salary, and I do this, and my board doesn't get a paycheck as well. My board of directors, they're all volunteers. We all volunteer to do this. I do this as a kindness to our young adults because I want to see them be successful. And I love when they tell me they are successful, or they were successful in a situation. If I knew half of this stuff, like we've been preaching the whole time in my early 20s, I'm pretty sure I'd be a CEO today. I'm almost positive. So, any funds that are over the cost of running the nonprofit, I use them for materials, for seminars, and anything over that is given as scholarships to young adults, so that they can use towards college or trade school after first writing an essay letting me know why they deserve it. Or I might even do, like, during seminars, I'll do raffles and stuff like that for certain books. If I'm teaching the investment seminar, I might raffle off a candlestick book that I often teach about, the Japanese candlesticks. And then also for credit reporting, I have this wonderful, I got to show you this book. This book right here, everybody needs to know about this book. I mean, this thing is golden. But this is, I don't know, can they see this?
What's the name of it?
It is Credit Secrets, and it's by Scott and Allison Hinton. And this right here teaches you how to get errors off your credit report, how to change things on your credit report, take things off, just erroneous stuff that's on there. And credit bureaus, they have AI, and they do a lot of machines that are doing these disputes, and a lot of times the machines can't do this stuff, the complicated stuff. So you have to be persistent and writing constantly to these credit bureaus to get stuff done. And that book, oh my God, it's golden. So I'll give those away too as seminars, and I think that cost of that book is like $30. I'll usually raffle those out. So I don't keep any of the funds or anything like that. I don't want to pay myself anything. I want to do this for the community and for the young people. So if you do want to donate, you can go to the website to www.tedranonprofitlearning.org and scroll down to the donation section. You can donate through Benevity causes. Now, Benevity is a lot of corporations. They donate through Benevity, and then also Cash App. I have the Cash App information there, and I have a GoFundMe for people that like to use credit cards. And then also you can mail in a check. Most of my donations come in mail-in check, and we are a 501(c)(3), so any donation is tax deductible. So, and I have all my credentials for that too.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, she's legit, and she gives back. Not that many people I've met in my life or even known of give back. A lot of people, when they get certain information, they get up here, they never give back. She's giving back. Please check out this website, donate. I'm definitely going to do it. You know what I mean? She's a wonderful person. Also, she's married to my buddy Donnie. He's a great man. And we all from Philly. Can't go wrong for that. All right?
That's right. That's right.
All right. T, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for spreading your knowledge. Your nonprofit organization is going to do well. Thank you for explaining that to people out there. This is a fantastic thing here. Thank you so much for blessing me with your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
And everybody, we will see you next week on next episode of Let's Talk About It. Peace. Thank you for watching the show. Please like, subscribe, comment. Stay tuned next week for another exciting episode on Let's Talk About It.